So,
What was his contention primarily about what the blast was composed of?
micro nuke.
Did you believe that at first?
No, I did not.
What did it take? What was the pivotal moment that you suddenly realized that, oh my God, maybe Joe was right? When was it? That pivotal moment.
At the time, we were working. Our team was working. Like 16, 18-hour days, and I was very tired. Very upset because I had a language deficiency, Bahasa Indonesia and English, and so I was dependent upon my students to do all the interviewing. So prior to them going out and interviewing people, I had to brief them on security issues. And that was my number one concern, was that, we're talking about, 20-year-old kids, journalism students, that are taking something like this, of this magnitude on. And so you can imagine I had, many, many sleepless nights worrying about their safety. So basically, they were my eyes and ears on the ground, and they were doing, this entire investigation up to that point was done by them, not by me. And so, when Joe Vialls, he originally faxed me an inquiry to Jakarta Post, and he brought up the micro nuke theory, and I was angry when my student handed this to me. I crumpled it up and I threw it in the trash can, and I told her, go back to work. This is garbage. There's nothing to this. Go back to work and deal with the realities of this case. And right about that time, I got back my photos from Sangla Hospital. I was grasping at straws. I was grasping at straws because I knew, having walked the site, that this was not conventional explosive. I knew it. But for me to say that, people look at me and they're going, look at this nutcase. Yeah, he thinks it's a micro nuke. Okay, so to make a long story short, when Joe sent me the fax, I crumpled it up and threw it in the trash can. And at that time, I got the film back from Sangla Hospital showing an individual that was purportedly at first to be Peter Hughes, and it turned out he wasn't, on the Indonesian ward, sporting flash burns. And I couldn't put it together. When I first saw the images, I just I threw them into a pile and I thought, okay, that's that. And then after I chewed out my students for giving me Joe Vialls' fax, suggesting that it might have been a micronuclear device in Kuta, they pulled out the photo of this individual that I'd taken in Sangla Hospital burn ward, and they came back to me, and they were really timid, because I'm not the easiest guy in the world to work for, and they put it in front of me and they said, "Okay, Father, what's wrong with this?" And I looked at it and I said, "What do you mean? What the guy's burned." Okay, he's burned, and Sari said, "Yeah, but Father, look at the burns on his face." You know, and I go, okay, yeah, he's burned. Okay, yeah, sure, he's burned. But he has his hair. And I looked at the photo, and that's when the whole thing came together. You know, this guy's got second and third degree burns on his face. I really started studying the photo, and where his T-shirt was, his chest and torso were completely clear, but below where his T-shirt was on his arms, he had second and third degree burns, and around his neck where the T-shirt was, he had second and third degree burns on his face, all the way up to his hair, and he still had his hair. And, you know, I sent this to Marine Corps EOD, and they looked at it and they said, yeah, no, this guy, what the hell is this? You know, what is this? And you know, I told him, I go, I don't know. You guys are supposed to tell me. And they said, well, we can't account for these burns. We can't account for these burns. That was what they sent me in a letter. We cannot account for these burns. And that was Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps Explosive Ordnance Division. They couldn't account for them. They'd never seen them before, you know. And I interviewed a couple of doctors at Sangla from Australia that had shown up. They were there on vacation, and they'd shown. And these guys were terrified. They were terrified. They didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to say anything about any burns. No burns. No, we don't talk about burns. We don't talk about that. No, we talk about casualties. You know, I'm going, okay. But why won't you talk about the burns? And they walked away from me. They were terrified. There was actually one Australian doctor that told me, I've never seen anything like this, except in pictures that I've seen taken in the aftermath of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Thanks very much for coming on and talking to us here. And I can't wait for your latest release and whatever it is when it comes out on SoutheastAsiaNews.org. Thanks very much, Rob.
Thank you, Steve.